Is Tahuti School of Alchemy, Part 6, Class 6. If you haven't checked out all the other series and tapes, go check them out, man. We're on Part 6 now. We're cracking heads and twisting caps, and we're going to keep it clean as always, YouTube. Let's roll that intro while we give them time to get in the building.
Young L on the beat.
Robot, like we said, if you're new to the channel, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Trying to figure out how far you got to be away from this thing for it to get a good picture of you. Um, like we said, we've been going over the basics. The first, I think it's gonna be about 7 classes on the basics, and then we'll go into more advanced alchemy after that. But we got to get the basics out, right? If you notice the background, we got the city of the gods, right? For people that's wondering about that, we already broke that down on part 1. All right, let's bite right down into it. Get right up off in it, right down off up in it, right off in the middle of it. Hit that like, man. We was talking about cause and effect when we left off. Cause and effect is real. Cause and effect is real. We broke that all down on the last tape. Get in here, man. We're talking about rhythm, timing, the setup, the plan. When you figure out the timing on this thing, you can be everything will work for you. Because if you do everything right on time, it's gonna work for you. If you do everything off time or off the rhythm, you can do that too. But you gotta know that's tricky, man. To do everything off beat and be and still be able to work the groove, because you can work the groove. You can work the groove. That's what Tahuti call it. You can work the groove. Work the groove is shadow work. Working off the off beat is a form of shadow work. Working out of sync, off rhythm in the background, in the middle on the rest point, because there's a rest point in music. Working on a rest point is shadow work, man. So we're dealing with rhythm. This is one of the laws of the universe. Timing. because everything's on a frequency. Okay, we're gonna read that other one. Says rhythm, the sound pattern of the words and syllables of a rhyme, song, or piece or music. Rhythm is distinct from the underlying beat, right? So the beat got rhythm, and then you got the rhythm when you because we told you it's hard to rock a rhyme. To rock a rhyme is tricky. It's hard to rock around, right? To rock around is tricky, right? Uh, we talking about a post, a beat, a timing of music, right? A way to organize pitch and patterns. And why is it important? Keep in mind your body is dealing around sound. You got your eardrums, heartbeat, your organs. Hear it, right? You hear it, right? We can go on and on and on. And so your everything we are based on sound. We're based on light. We're based on thought. All this is in the mind. One of the first laws in the universe. That we are all mind. Better get into that, man. It's all timing, man. All right. So we already broke down if your car don't work properly, your car has a timing belt on it. And if it's not on timing, it's not gonna run. It's not gonna sound good. And keep in mind, we basing this off sound right and reasoning. So if your car don't sound right and the timing's off, your car not gonna sound right. All right. Now in logics to make everything look good and look in sync, because when the stuff look off beat or off sync, it look funny. Now you could do it because you got this dude named for example, you got this dude named Blueface, the rapper from the West Coast, with Cash Money West, right? When he came in rapping, he was rapping off beat, and it sounded funny. It sound funny when you hear somebody rap off beat, but it can be done. It can be done. Tahuti, that's called a groove. So this dude actually hit it big off rapping off beat, right? It's different. Um, Jay Z started rapping off beat, and then he got came out with Just Blaze. Just Blaze started making those three count beats, right? The 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2. But it goes all the way back to old school. But that's why Just Blaze do a lot of old school samples, and he got this old school feel to his music, right? We can get into that too. But what we want to really talk about is timing and rhythm. So as these people doing the rope, this person is timing it to jump in to know when on time so they can make it. But if they don't jump on time, the rope can hit them. Even in boxing, they use timing, rhythm, they use distance. It's mathematics, man. It's geometry. It's all kind of stuff in boxing. People don't know that, man. It's all kind of different mathematical sequences going on in your gotta be going on in your head and for to make you a good boxer. And one of the number one thing is timing and rhythm. Once you could get somebody rhythm down and timing down, and they don't got yours down, you can really much do what you want to them once you get their rhythm down. That's why all good boxers know they watch film to get people rhythm down. Once they get your rhythm down, they can control the fight. You in control once you on time and in the rhythm and in sync. That's part of this the laws, the chain reaction, the timing. All right, now that they got in, they up in that, right? Boom. They up in that, right? Now they in the loop. They in the timing. They in the right timing because now they jumping, they doing this rope and she right in there on time. Jumping up on time to miss the loop. Once you figure out this timing and you get in this timing, a lot of stuff gonna start to fall in place for you. This is deeper than rap. This is deeper than religion. All right. In music, because keep in mind we all a sound. In music, you have what you call the rest note, the quarter rest, whole rest. half wrist, 16ths of a wrist, eighth of a wrist. So people that know about music that was in band, that's a producers, they know about the wrist note. So you got the tick, and then you got the top. The tick, you got the rest, then you got the tick, then you got the talk. The talk is the rest point. And what they do is they introduce to you, instead of giving you the first, which is the rest, they introduce to you the second, which is why the lowest measurement in time begins with a second, which is really the second, the number two, not the first. The first is the rest point. All right, this is the rest symbol. Keep in mind, this is the symbols. All symbols are alchemic. Why? Because they are a form. Remember, we told you alchemy is an art form. So when stuff taking form, this is a form. This becomes alchemy. Keep that in mind, man. So Hootie wanted me to make all this clear before we go into the advanced schools that's about to get ready to come out. Keep in mind, we already got tapes. We record tapes like Tupac. We get these tapes out, and we're gonna have them already out. We're gonna be already ahead of the game a couple months on these tapes to drop, man. So we can just take a vacation, man, and relax. You hear me? You heard me? Right? Then we got whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, eighth of a note, 16th notes. Right? So you got these different notes in music. People that was in band know about the notes, man. You know about the notes. You know how to read the notes. Right? Here's another picture of the notes. So keep in mind, we're gonna do the hippity hop, the hip hop, and the bang bang boogie that don't stop, the bang bang boogie that break. Now, what you hear is not a test. Yeah. All right, rhythm is a musical quality in language produced by repetition. Poetry can create rhythm by repeating patterns of stressed and unstressed syllables, repeating words, phrases, lines, and sentences, using rhymes or repetition of sound. It's kind of blurry. Using pause, various lines of length. So like the pause is the rest. When you, hey man, I'm telling you, this is high power alchemy. Even when you talking, and you when you rhyming, like when you mack it to a girl, if you can talk and you know how to put your lines, you got punch lines and you got these lines, cause they call when you mac and they say you got some mac lines. You used to hear stuff like girl, I know you must be tired because you've been walking through my mind all day long, right? So that's like these lines right there that people got, right? But that line, the chick might tell you, "Hey man, that's old. You need to work on some new game, right?" That's old line. That's that line played out. You need to work on some old game on that one because that line never played out. So we got these lines and phrases. If you got the right lines and right phrases, if you hit them on the right timing, because it's dealing with rhythm and timing, then you will get a certain response. And that the response, hopefully, that your intentions on when you giving the line of phrase, right? So keep in mind what's going on here in the background, man. We got to make all this clear. So it's hard to rock a rhyme. To rock a rhyme is tricky. Okay, all right, we good. Okay, all right. So like I say, everything has a timing. Your car has a timing. Your body has a timing. The words that you say and how you speak has to have a timing. When you rap, sing, dance, all this is based on timing. All right. So yeah, rhythm based on repetition, color, shape, form, line, other existing elements or parts, also known as repetition. Repetition is learning. Keep in mind the prefixes and suffixes. We're gonna talk about that too later on, probably on part 7. We might get into a little bit of it on this tape, but re means to do again. Re means to do again. Keep that in mind. So when repetition means a repetitive or a nonstop, reoccurring or organized movement in space and time. And keep in mind, there's no such thing as space and time. There's no such thing. It's always, I mean, it is a such thing as time, but the space is filled with something. There's no such thing as space. Time do exist to a certain vibration. And then once you go past a certain frequency, you go into a higher vibration of time. So time do exist. People say, "Oh, time is the illusion." No, time governs the universe. Time stimulates the events. So on one side, time don't exist, you can say, and then the other side, time is what governs. It's part of the government of the universe because time it separates events. Time is you're dealing with the 0 point, and you're dealing with time creates reference points. Time creates location. Time creates direction or evolution. All of it, right? So time is very important. Then you, like we say, we got the groove. What is a groove? Groove is a mysterious word in the drumming community. I think that's what they say. A groove is a mysterious word in the drumming community. In drumming, a groove is repeated phrase that sets and maintains the rhythm and tempo of the piece. I think that's what it says. Groove is the sense of propulsive rhythmic feel or sense of swing. It's kind of blurry, but this what we gonna. But the groove, like the groove, is that repeatedness, right? That tap, pat, pat, bop, boom, bow, boom, bang, boom, bang, dang, dang, doom, 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 da, ba, bow, doom. All my drummers know about that groove, man. It's like a feeling. It's like something that you just go with the flow, go with the flow, right? Like I say, we talked about the time and chain or time and belt. If the timing's off on anything that you got that's mechanical, 'cause once you get into mechanicals or alchemy, once you get into the mechanics, you got to know about the timing, man. Timing is one of the key components to your stuff running right in this in the groove on the wave. So you got too early, on time, and too late. If your stuff is too early, it's not gonna run properly. If it's too late, it's not gonna run properly. If it's on time, it's gonna run properly because it got to be on. It's the laws of rhythm. That's why, like I say, it's dealing with mechanics. It's dealing with everything in life. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. The time when you do things, it depends on if it work right or if it don't work. When you shoot, when you in basketball and you in the gym and your timing's on, that means you're gonna hit the shot. When your timing's on, right? You can hit the shot. But if your timing's off, that means you can shoot air balls, right? Okay, let's look at this. All right. So time 1 second, number of oscillation, oscillation two, and half frequency. Okay, all right. So we're dealing with the crust. Boom. 1, 2, rest. 3. So it's 1, 2, 3 seconds. So you got this is the groove right here. 1 groove, 2 the groove. All these are the grooves. These are the rests. So they start you right here, but it really starts right here, like in the groove right here, where it says rest 1, rest 2. This is the tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick. So everything is a timing. All right. Once you get in the speech of vibration up, you go into high frequency timing where Like in the third dimension, time is moving like this, and then in the fourth dimension, time is moving like this, and then in the fifth dimension, time is moving like this. This why one day could be 1,000 years here, or one day, like it's 5 minutes here could be 1 hour here, right? So you do the math. So 1 hour here could be uh like a couple years here, because and on the Anunnakis Nibiru, one day is 30 years, a month is 300 years, and a 1 year is 3,600 years. And they got the 12 months, right? So 1 month is 300 days, 300 years, right, for them. So you're dealing with a high frequency time where the time is speed up faster in the higher dimensions versus in the mental realm, you're talking about 1 hour for 5 minutes. So you can fall asleep for 5 minutes here, and you could be going through an hour worth of time in the dream realm, which is and the fourth dimension is a medium in between. It's like the first level of what they call Malakut. Malakut is the angels, well, angelical beings, extraterrestrials, angels, the bad guys. Most of them supposedly got kicked out, right? The bad guys, they call them demons, fallen angels, right? They supposedly got kicked out. We try to keep it all tied in together for you, right? But we try to keep it smooth. But the higher dimensional time is moving like this in a wave. So the increments is much faster, and the rest period is much shorter. Thus, they had to sleep less. They sleep less in this dimension. Then they sleep less in this dimension. Then we sleep more. I mean, we sleep more in this dimension. Then you start to sleep lesser as you go up in vibrations because the time increments is different. All right. So keep in mind, Inky went up and did the charts, and they started basing this off of time. The time is based off the zodiac. Time is based off the zodiac, and the broader time is based off the zodiac. The smaller time is based off the moon, the sun, and then the larger time is the zodiac, dealing with the 2,100 years. And the smaller time is based on the moon, dealing with the 30 days or the 28 days. And then the sun time is based off of really the Earth time going around the sun is based off of 300 and some days. And then the sun actually travels around a big, much larger galaxy, travel around the big sun, which is another like a 365,000 some year million years, right? So we're dealing with time. Time once you Time is a governor. But you can figure out the time, and you can travel through time. All time traveling, and all that is forms of alchemy. But you got to understand the basic elements of what time is, and then you learn how to move outside of the groove. You can pretty much come invisible and become shadow work, do the shadow work. So there's what they call deadlines. I mean, you got to have it done by this time, right? A deadline don't sound like a good thing. We'll get into that later, but so the best way out is always through. So we talk to push forward because you can't undo the past. Push forward, right? Robert Frost. It says, he that respected himself is safe from others. Keep in mind, all of these are words, quotes they taken from Tahuti because they getting it from the thought. Third dimensional beings get their information from the fourth dimension, which is a mental reservoir, while all the information is already stored from the Akashic records based on mathematical sequence, high level mathematical sequence coming down from the realm of thought, which is what Tahuti deal with, which is why one of his names is thought. The journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step. Think about that. In this life, we got what you call obstacles. Obstacles have people look at obstacles as being a negative, but obstacles, because on that tape with Nuwapian versus the Mormons, He asks, why would God? What kind of? Why would God give you tests and He already know the answers to it? But the truth of the matter is, God don't give you tests. God don't give you tests. God give you obstacles, right? Now He already, like, you could say, okay, He knows. If He know everything, then He should know if you already gonna make it over the obstacle. But the obstacle is not for him to know that you already gonna make it or not. The obstacle is for to build your mental, build you up so he can make you like him. God create these obstacles because He trying to make you like him. So He trying to develop your mental mind, your cognitive mind. He trying to develop your motor skills, develop your critical thinking, and all these different parts that make him God. God has critical thinking. God got to do critical thinking. So in order for to make you God just like him, because He said ye are gods, in order for to make you God, He create obstacles. These are not tests. Obstacles are not tests. They are like uh the thing not, and they're not things to block you. This what they get a definition of. They say an obstacle, I mean any obstacle, can't see that. Any obstruction designed or employed to disrupt, fix, turn, or block the movement of any opposing force and to impose additional losses in personnel, time, and equipment on the opposite force. Oh, I don't know that's what they say, but it's kind of blurry. But when I loaded them up, they wasn't blurry, but now they want to be blurry. All right. So obstacles are to develop your muscles and develop your brain, develop your critical thinking skills, right? Now you can do like Rod Hayes said he do with obstacles and bust King Kong bust right through the wall, right? You can do that type of going through your obstacles, or you can sit there and you can figure out what's going on and develop your mental skills on how to get around this obstacle. God want us to learn. We here. This is a boot camp. This is a God boot camp. We were sent here to be gods. This is part of our God training. So the obstacles are just part of like boot camp, right? We got drill sergeants here. Drill sergeants here to make us go through the obstacles. We all these obstacles that you go through in your life are part of your training to become God. So God don't give you tests. He just send you to send his children to boot camp or to this developing camp, and that the obstacles are part of your training process of you. God don't it don't matter. God probably already know or not if you going to pass or not, but it's not for God to know it. It's just for you to develop on your own so you can be your independent. Obstacles is to make you independent so that when you accomplish those obstacles on your own, when you make it through those obstacles on your own, you become your own God. But if you got to call, if you when you get to these obstacles, if you call on God, then you failing. You failing because God really wants you to do the obstacles, complete these obstacles by yourself based on what He taught you already. Whether it be from the you be your base be from the setup from the Bible, the Quran, or whatever. You're supposed to use the basics that you got to overcome these obstacles by yourself so that once you pass one obstacle, you shouldn't go through the same obstacle again because if you go through the same obstacle, you already accomplished that and you know how to get through that obstacle. So it wouldn't be a really an obstacle no more once you already learned that particular skill set. So obstacles, this training is to develop your skill set. It's to develop your skill set, right? So that you can become like God, man. That's what obstacles is all about. So you see hurdles. This is to develop your skill set, develop your athletics, develop your mental motor skills, the critical thinking, and obstacle obstacles can be metaphorically for just different things you might go through in life. That might you might say that was thought that was negative, but it really is a part of your training to make you like God. All right. Overcoming obstacles, whether great or small, is nothing more than a series of arguments between the part of your brain that wants to stop and the part of your brain that wants to keep going. Right. So you want to keep going, man, because like I say, this is a school. This is the obstacles are not tests. We don't got tests here. We have obstacles, and that's to develop your mental. Well, I can say you can say it's a form of a test, but God is not testing you. It's you. It's a test for you to develop your own soul, because it says man is becoming a living soul. We're becoming part of that breath, that spirit, that breath that God breathed into man again. And part of that development is the obstacles that you go through in life to develop. Don't look at obstacles as a bad thing. Look at obstacles as just developing your critical thinking. Eventually, once you pass all the obstacles in life, and you go through a whole bunch. Now, some people can get through them faster than others. Some people go through the obstacles faster than others, and then they end up developing and becoming more intelligent faster than others. Some people have to go through the obstacles a couple times so they can get it right. All right, so you got these different obstacles in life. You got to learn. You got to toughen up, grow a pair, get some hair on your chest, grow some hair on your chin, soldier. When you get to an obstacle, sit and think. Right, sit down and think on it. Right, it's gonna be blocks in the road. You're gonna go through storms. You're gonna go through hurricanes. You're gonna go through tornadoes. You're gonna go to obstacles. Sit and think. There's a way around everything. There's more than one way to skin a cat. We don't want to skin no cats, Tahuti said. We ain't doing no skinning of no living beings, right? Like these reptilian dragonians and these insects, right? Yeah. So when you get an obstacle, what you got is a situation, which is sit you waiting, a sit you action, sit you waiting, sit you waiting, a condition or position in which you find yourself, right? A physical position in relation to the surroundings, right? So the a circumstance, right? So situating. So when you get into an obstacle, sometimes you might have to sit and wait. You know what I'm saying? That's what a situation really means. Situate, think, start thinking, think your way out of these things. You can, you have the ability. Tahuti gave us all the tools we need into the mental. All the information is in the mental realm. All the answers, all the questions become the answers at some point in time in this mental realm. So the questions that you have, you can find the answers to every question that you have if you think, if you ask. You have not. Matthew chapter 7 and 7 for my Bible guys. I mean, no, it's Matthew chapter 7, verse 7, I think. You have not because you ask not. He that asketh receiveth, right? If you the children of the universe, the righteous, got everything they need. If you want something, ask for it in the universe to give it to you. If you sincere, you have not because you ask not. Knock and the door shall be open. People say, "Oh, he going back religious." Yeah, we got it. We got to. Tahuti said, tie it all in together because it's all ties all in together. So we got to talk to everybody. When we talking to everybody, so everybody that can hear us, we talking with the Holy Spirit. What the Christians call the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is when everybody can hear you. It don't matter what they believe in. Everybody can hear you. So when you sit down and think, you sit down and think and invite the Holy Spirit onto you. The Holy Spirit to us is the universal energy, universal law, the all. Right now we can get into it was Gabriel. We can get into that too. We get to that. We got that coming. Them classes coming. We got more religious tapes coming out for you guys where it's gonna be more detailed and explained with the pictures and the quotes and everything right there, so you can really see it what's happening here and how far the master teacher was ahead of the game. But people was holding them back, study asking them religious questions, and he didn't get a chance to put out the stuff that we putting out now. So we had to come and put out the next level stuff and go ahead take it all the way there so we can get you there because we dealing with the teaching the crystals the day in Crystal City like 1,000 years that we talk to these people to get them back to where they're going. All right. So we're gonna try to we got about 7 minutes, man. We're gonna cause Tahuti want us to keep these under 40 minutes, about around 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. So we're gonna try to get a couple more because we're gonna try to keep it into 7 tapes for the beginner tapes. Then we'll go into 7 more when we go into the advanced tapes. But when you in a get to an obstacle, sit and think. You can think your way out of anything. It's always a way, a loophole, or some kind of way to get out of stuff. Keep in mind, telling the truth is more beneficial for you and your frequency in the universe. Tell the truth even if it goes against yourself. A lot of times, tell the truth. Now if you're a criminal and you go into the police and this guy like, hey man, because they say you got the right to remain silent and you got the right to not self-incriminate yourself and testify against yourself. So you got to be smart, man. Don't be a dang gone fool. But if you're a criminal, man, you really doing. If you're doing sending bad energy, keep in mind there's cause and effect. Most of the people that I know that were robbers, they end up getting robbed, or end up getting killed, or end up going to jail. Most of the people that I know that were selling drugs end up getting on drugs or going to jail. So it's a cause and effect for everything. When you do bad or what's considered bad, the principle under the principles and morals of the society, right? That's why we say follow the laws of the land. When you do this that type of thing, bad energy, caught the bad effect comes with the side effects. Most of every drug dealer eventually get caught or lose everything they got. Most of every big time drug dealer that's not legal. Now we got ways you can become legal as far as the grass, the wacky tobacco, we gotta say it like that. You can legalize that now and actually grow your own stuff. So you got the legals going on, that's different. But you gotta follow the rules of society in order to keep the cause and effect from coming back. So start thinking. Now it's a thin line between situating and procrastination. Procrastination. You know what I'm saying? Procrast. Hit it, right? Pros mean you stand for cast, but it's a thin line between, you know, uh procrastination and situating. Because you can procrastinate and you can get off timing. You can get off timing and you'll get behind and this it's a cause and effect. Because if you don't handle your business will handle you. Keep that in mind. If you don't handle your business will handle you. How to think, critical thinking. We're gonna get into a whole tape on how to think. That's gonna probably we're gonna probably talk about we got a tape in the advanced classes of Tahuti School going in on the thinking part. Where we go into another whole class just on the mind. So critical thinking, your brain has to have a timer. Your timing, your thinking is on a timer. You gotta have that timing down. Another thing that works for virtue is patience. Patience, endurance. These are key words dealing with timing. Patience, you gotta because I used to be a my dad, he used to work on cars or whatever, right? And we used to work on cars. And he used to always say, when you put stuff back together, don't rush, because if you miss a piece, you got to take it all the way back apart, and then you lose time. So in a mechanic, all mechanics know, all high power alchemists who are mechanics that work on these timing machines, because that's what they all are. The cars, all that, the airplanes, all timing. The airplane got to have a timer on, or else it ain't gonna fly right. It ain't gonna fly right. So everything has a timer. So, in order to be a good mechanic, all mechanics know when you're taking stuff apart and putting it back together, you want to take your time, especially putting it back together, because you don't want to miss a little spark that you got to start all back over and you waste time. So you can waste time rushing sometimes. You can waste time. You can have to. So rushing don't really matter sometimes in this game, because you can lose time having to go back and redo stuff, right? Patience. Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability, but how you act while you're waiting. Patience is not about how long one what can wait, but how well one believes while waiting or behaves by waiting. Patience, the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or sick, right? All right, so it's a capacity. Let's talk about capacity. It's dealing with electricity, toleration. It's all dealing with threshold, delay. It's all dealing with time. See what I'm saying? All this game. We almost at that mark, man. About at that mark, Toady. You also have we're gonna cover these last couple of pieces. All right, Toady. All right, so they have the sitcoms, right? Sitcom. They sitting coms while they being programmed. They tell you, look at how they looking. They being hypnotized. Sitcom, right? They want you to sitcom, situating sitcoms, the history of sitcoms. Now they know they stop. You notice they stopped doing the sitcoms. Why? Because children and the people that they need to get over to don't sitcom no more. Children's attention span is short. Why? Because their timing is sped up. The timing is speeding up. The rhythm is speeding up of the planet. Keep in mind about the hypnosis box. We already talked about the hypnosis box. The tail lie visions. Tail lies on your vision, right? The hypnosis box. The programming. Remember your grandma used to say, sit down, child, hush, hush while my program is on. The programming, right? It's hypnosis. Remember they swing the time clock, right? Back and forth. You're getting sleepier. You're getting this and that, right? It's all dealing with hypnosis, man. We're gonna get into this. Hypnosis. We're gonna get into deep down into that. On when we get into the of how to do it and all that. But certain we only gonna give certain people this information, or certain people only gonna be able to hear that tape because we're gonna be talking in codes. Only high certain our power alchemists gonna get a hold of this, because if you get a hold of this with that type of power, people go crazy. And we'll come back on what is a technique. And like Tahuti said, don't sweat the technique. Don't sweat the technique, bruh. Right? And that wraps this tape up. This is part 6. We're going back for part 7, and that should be the last tape on the intro classes. So peace and love, right? Hotep, assalamu alaikum, Islam, right? Shalom alaikum, Ashug, divine love throughout the boundless universe to all. Wadu.